all, welcome to ShareTreck. It's 3rd of January 2022 and it's around 3 o'clock. So 1 hour for the market to close. Really happy to see the way things are moving overall. I would have wished that the VXN had dropped below the support of 20.94, but it's hanging on there stubbornly. Let us take a closer look at the VXN. Let us zoom in. Each candle here is 1 day. So as you can see very clearly, this is the candle for today, and it has got an inverted hammer with a heavy head at the bottom. So there's a big struggle going on for the volatility to subside, but it's kind of hanging just above the support of 20.94. So once we break below this, things should look better for the Nasdaq. And speaking of Nasdaq, we have got Nasdaq up 1.02% today. That is 158.94 points. It's a welcome uptrend. And if you look at this triangle, which is being formed by this green line, which is at the bottom of our channel, and this red line, which has been a previous resistance at 16032.76, we are poised to get into this gap, which keeps on getting narrower, and then we need to break above this. Now, if I zoom out to a 1-year view, you would see that we are in an upward bullish channel, and we need to break through this, and that could happen anytime around February. So we'll have to see how the first quarter grows. I think that there's going to be volatility in the first quarter still. Maybe by end of January, if the experts are right, and if Omicron subsides and we are back to normal, then I can see very clearly that in February we can break through this resistance, and this lower green line, which is support channel of this bullish channel, it's going to help us to keep moving upward. So fingers crossed. Now let's look at what's happening with our stocks, which are the biotech stocks. And I'm going to start off by sorting the stocks on the percentage basis. So on our top today, the top gainer is Blue, while at the very bottom is Pfizer. And let us get started with Bluebird. So if you look at the long-term view of Bluebird, it has been on a downward spiral. And if we go closer to the 3 months time frame, we'll see that we were on a bearish channel which was going down, and then we broke out, and then we fell down again, and then we broke out again. And now this is actually a bull flag in my opinion. This channel which we are seeing, I wouldn't call it as a downward bear channel, but I'd rather call it as a bull flag, because we have a upward trend here, and from there we have developed this sideward movement, and this looks to me like a bull flag, and we are ready to break over this green line, which is the upper bound of the bull flag, in which case our next target should be 11.65. So today Bluebird has got 5.14% gain, that is 54 cents. So I'm keeping my fingers crossed that I have interpreted the chart correctly, and it's not a bear channel, but it's rather a bull flag, in which case today we should end above this green line. So we are already there with 10.54, but we need to put on a few more points to be convincing. If I look at the MACD, it is bullish, and RSI has got plenty of room to go up. So I'm pretty confident, very confident that we should move upward for Bluebird. Let's go on to Teledoc, which is up 3.52%. That is $3.22. And if I'm looking at a reasonably long-term chart of say 3 months, where each candle is an hour, we are above our support, which is at 92.32, and we are below the resistance at 97.20. We have plenty of room for the RSI to move forward. The momentum is pretty good, and our MACD is also bullish. So we should be looking at challenging the 97.20. Maybe we could probably end up the day somewhere closer to 95.75. I would be happy with that, and hopefully tomorrow we set up a target to challenge 97.20, and that will be really good. Let's move on to CRISPR. CRISPR at 3.73% gain, that is $2.83 above yesterday, the last close, and we are knocking at the doors of a resistance at 79.51. Our MACD is bullish, Our RSI is neutral, but it has got plenty of space to go up, and it's pretty healthy. So we should be able to see some upward movement today. And if we can stay above the 50-day and the 11-day EMA, I'm going to change the color of the 50-day EMA so that we can easily recognize it. I'm going to make it yellow because that's the color that stands out in the chart. And I'm going to keep the 11-day EMA as blue. So right now we are above both our 11-day and 50-day EMA. That's a solid support out there. So hoping for the best for CRISPR. And next we go on to Editas, 2.82% gain today. That is around 72 cents. And we are steadily keeping above the support at 26.67, and we are moving sideways. There should be some catalyst for Editas to make it move up. Otherwise, I don't see how things are going to pick up. RSI is pretty healthy and neutral, and it has plenty of room to go up. MACD has just become bullish. So hopefully we end up the day notching a few more points. Maybe we end up at around 27.39 before close. Just above that, that will be a good sign. If we end at 27.39, we would be like have moved sideways. A little bit of growth today would be good, because ultimately we are aiming to cross this downward red line, which is a long-term resistance of a bearish channel. Once we break above that, then we are out of the woods. So now let us look at ARKG. ARKG is up 2.58%, that is $1.58, and moving sideways. MACD is bullish. RSI is also pretty strong, and plenty of room to go up. So the last trading session, the high we had was 63.45. So if we were to able to touch 63.45 today, I would be happy with that, and that would show some growth. Even though we are positive 2.56% today, to me it looks like we are continuing to move sideways otherwise. Beam Therapeutics is up 1.37%, that is $1.09. And if we look at our zoomed out view at a 1-day chart, with each candle being 1 day, we are above the support at 80.78, and we are struggling. We closed yesterday at around 79.49, and today we are above that. However, we are still below where we were at the peak of the last trading on 31st of December. So what we have formed is a candle which is within the body of yesterday's red candle. So basically we are moving sidewards, even though we have gained $1.09. So for me to believe that we are moving up, I think we have to close above 82.35 today, and then I would be comfortable. Otherwise we are moving sideways. Even if we are moving sideways, that is good for consolidation, as MACD is bullish, RSI is neutral, and there is plenty of space to move ahead. All we want to do is break above this red line, which is a long-term bearish channel upper bound. So once we break above that, we should be fine. But the concern for today is that our support line has been breached, and it has become a resistance. So we have to go above this resistance of 81.05, and then we should be fine. Now let's look at Vertex. Vertex is at 0.90% gain today. That is $1.97. We have gone above our support lines from earlier, resistance lines from earlier, which have now become our support. They were at 218.66 and 220.15. So we have done well today by going above these two, but we still need to move further ahead, and we have to be above 222.66 in order to have made any gain from the 31st of December. Otherwise, we are still moving sidewards, in my opinion, and we would probably be in a consolidation mode. Our MACD has turned bearish. RSI is oversold, and it has got to cool down a bit. So I would probably see us testing our support at 220.15. And if we manage to say about 220.15, that would be a good outcome for today, and we'll take it from there. We continue to remain above the 11-day and the 50-day EMA, so that's again another good sign. So let's go for Novartis. Novartis is looking good. We are above all the resistance that we had before, so I've turned them all into support. All these three green lines are supports now. So we've gone up 52 cents, and I'll mark up some new resistance based on historical trends for Novartis. So I got plenty of price history before. I'll work on that today and have it ready for our session tomorrow. And now let us go on to look at the indicators. So if I look at the MACD, it's just about crossing over the signal line and becoming bullish. We have some more space to go for an RSI. So I look forward to more positive gain in Novartis before the market close. Right now we are around 3.05 p.m. So there is around 55 minutes left, and I expect at least a 10 point gain for Novartis before the end of the trading day. Regeneron is down 0.69%, and let us go back into the smaller time frame. For Regeneron, we have a resistance at 629.02 and a support at 624.20, and we are firmly in between it right now at 627.16. Our MACD is turning bullish. RSI is way below neutral, so it's got plenty of space to go up. We need to gather some momentum in this stock for it to move upwards and get into the positive. Right now we are down 4.36 from the previous close, and we have a long way to go. So we need some serious catalysts for Regeneron. Now let us look at NVDIA, which is down 0.65%. Our MACD is just about to cross over the signal line and turn bullish, but it could also go parallel because our momentum is not very strong. The RSI is below neutral, though it has plenty of way to go for overbought. I don't see a strong momentum here, so that is my concern. And we are moving sideways and negative for the time being. I could consider this to be a bit of a consolidation. However, we still have strong headwinds from the 11-day and the 15-day EMA, which are kind of constraining us right now. The 11-day EMA is constraining the upward movement of the stock today. And if we zoom out to a 3-month view, we can see that we were in an upward bullish channel. We broke out of it, and we are now going sideways. And our next resistance is going to be this diagonal line, which we need to cross. And the further away we move from this zone, the less resistance we'll have to face in order to go up. So I'm a bit comfortable with this sideward movement, but we still have opportunity to keep on moving upwards and sidewards in order to go through the resistance out there. It all is going to depend on any good news that we get, any catalyst in terms of FDA approvals or moving some candidates into a phase 1 trial. So that's what we have to look forward to. And besides, the first quarter of 2022 is really volatile. Things have not yet settled, except for the good news from Tesla, where they blew out the market expectation with their deliveries. There hasn't been much great news as such, and Tesla is singularly determining the mood of the market. So tomorrow, if that enthusiasm starts to wane, we could see some of the mainstream stocks going negative in the Nasdaq. And at that point of time, the stocks that are in red today for us in the CRISPR sector might turn green, and the ones that are green today might turn a bit red. So this kind of a yo-yo movement will keep on happening, at least for the next couple of months, or at least for until the end of January, in my opinion. Let's look at Pfizer. Pfizer is down 3.67%. That is $2.16. So we have gone below our earlier support. So I'm going to mark them all as red. So our next support is now at 56.22. Right now we are at 56.88. Our MACD is bearish. Our RSI momentum has fallen significantly, and we are way below neutral, and we are almost close to oversold. So things are not looking great for Pfizer, but as I mentioned in my earlier videos, I'm not too worried about Pfizer. They got plenty of patents. It's a revenue producing company. It will survive all this volatility. It's a blue chip. So I'm not too worried about it. Plus they are starting to invest in CRISPR, and it's only going to make sure that their status as a blue chip remains going forward. So let's not worry too much about Pfizer. Let's quickly take a look at our bio-adjacent stocks, the new ones that we identified for tracking. So the first one is the stock of Palantir. It's staying above a support of 27.44. Right now it's at 18.47. The RSI is just about crossing over the signal line to turn bullish. We have plenty of way for the RSI to go up to become overbought. So everything is looking pretty good for Palantir to move up. As I mentioned earlier in my videos, Palantir is a big data company which does data analysis, and they are already working in the CRISPR field with a couple of companies. That's why we picked them up here. The main reason why Palantir stock is so low is because they remunerate their staff with stock options, and therefore equity dilution is very consistent in Palantir. That's why the share price is not picking up very fast. But sooner rather than later, the strategy of remuneration might change when they have achieved a certain level of staff retention. At that point of time, we can hope that the stock reimbursements kind of reduce, and that's when Palantir will start picking up share price. So this is going to be a long hold for Palantir, but it's in the right field. That's why we have got it here in our watch list. Next, we look at Google, which has got AI systems which are working on CRISPR and protein identification. That's why we picked up Google, apart from their other businesses. So if you look at Google today, it's up 0.42%. That is $12.21. And in my opinion, Google is very, very nicely priced. Even now, it's a good time for someone to enter Google. Of course, it's my opinion. It's not financial advice. But in my opinion, I think Google is a good entry point. And I have quite a few shares of Google. And I'm holding on to it because there is plenty of scope for Google. They have the cloud services, they got the search engine where they are dominant, they got YouTube, and also they have got AI systems, and it's a huge company, and it's got a solid moat around it. It's very difficult to beat Google. Of course, they have the Android systems and everything. So it's fantastic company worth looking at. Let's look at IBM. Again, IBM with Watson, which is a AI system, are also working on the CRISPR field with protein mapping and all that. So they are up today 1.77%. And if you see out here, I have mapped out that they are in a firm bullish channel moving upwards. And they have crossed many resistances today. So I'm going to turn all these resistances into supports. So we have one support coming up here, another support coming up here, and the last one that it crossed today is at 135.94. Today we are at 136.02. So if we stay above 136.02, then I'll have to look at the historical record of IBM in order to plot new resistances. For that, we have plenty of data available. IBM at its peak was around 144.42 in the last year. So we have plenty of way to move up in this share, around $6 to go. So I'll be looking forward to plot those resistance lines for us to cross. The MACD is bullish. The RSI is heavy momentum on the annual chart, and it's overbought on the annual chart. But if we go to the one-day chart, you will see that we are still within the range, and the momentum is not as strong as we thought, and it has got ways to go up. So for the day, I think IBM is going to move sidewards or slightly down, but it will end positive because it has got a support at 135.94. So that's all about IBM. Let's look at NVDIA. NVDIA ended up on 31st December at around 293.46, and since then, today we have crossed over the earlier resistance, which was there at 298.45, so that has become a support. I've already marked it green. Now we have the resistance for us at 303.83, and right now we are at 301.04. So once we cross that resistance, our next resistance is at 305.50. Today, if we look at the in-chart indicators, I'm looking at MACD, where the MACD is going parallel to the signal line, but below it, so it's moving in parallel, so we are moving sideways. The RSI is pretty decent, and it has got plenty of ways to move towards overbought, and it's looking up, and that's why we are in the positive. So I'm of the opinion that today we might end below the resistance of 303.83. However, tomorrow we have a chance of knocking at the doors of 303.83 and potentially just crossing over it. So let us look forward to that for NVDA, and then we'll plot more resistance line to see how it goes. Now, if you look at a one-year chart, you would see that Our peak for NVIDIA was around 345.86. So there's plenty of room for NVIDIA to grow. And their investment in the CRISPR sector, I believe, is going to add a lot of premium to their growth. So having said that, that brings us to the end of this session. So thank you all for a wonderful journey in 2021. Our channel is just about 1.5 months old, and we have crossed the new milestone of 40 subscribers. Yesterday we got our 40th subscriber. Thank you to the 40th subscriber. Now looking for the next milestone of 50. Thanks once again. Please like, share, and subscribe. And I hope you have a wonderful new year. Until the next session, bye for now.